Now, to some ray of hope in the fight against coronavirus, and vaccine developer Pfizer and BioNTech is tonight telling the world that all countries will have a share of its COVID-19 vaccine. This coming hours after Britain became the first country to approve a COVID-19 vaccine after its regulator cleared a shot developed by Pfizer and BioNTech for emergency use. The British government says the vaccine will be rolled out across the UK from early next week. And as Pamela Seeger reports, scientists here at home have hailed the development as a triumph for science.
The world's big powers have been racing for a COVID-19 vaccine for months in an attempt to be the first to begin the long road to recovery. In record time, less than a year, Britain's Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency has granted emergency use approval to the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine.
The MHRA's recommendation has been reached following an extremely thorough and scientifically rigorous review of all the evidence of safety, of effectiveness, and of quality of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine.
We have started immediately the process of delivering our vaccine, and we expect that the rollout of the vaccine in the UK will happen within the next couple of days.
Britain's vaccine committee will decide which priority groups get the jab first. The likeliest candidates are care home residents, health and care staff, the elderly, and people who were clinically vulnerable. The news came on the same day England emerged from a month-long coronavirus lockdown, with London residents giving a cautious welcome to the news.
I think that it could help us to protect ourselves from getting more damage for our lives and economy. I believe in this.
I don't know, obviously lots of drugs come out quite quickly, but we usually have quite a few years to test them before we give them to the main public, so I'm not sure about it, but obviously it's great for people who really are at such a high risk.
The speed of development approval of the vaccine has defied all previous records. Historically, it's taken years to do human clinical trials and get vaccines approved. For polio in the 1950s, it took about 3 years. It took about that long for the rubella vaccine in the 1960s, and it took 2 years for mumps. Here in Kenya, scientists hailed the approval of the vaccine.
To hear that the UK drug regulatory authority has looked at the data provided and they are convinced that this vaccine should be registered for use by the general public is good news, because this is an independent body now that has looked through the dossier.
What does this then mean for Kenya?
So this is good news for Kenya, but for Kenyan, the vaccine information has to be presented and be reviewed by Pharmacy and Poisons Board before we can then say that it will be utilized in Kenya.
And now looking at COVID, and everybody is asking, we've managed to crack COVID faster than we ever even imagined. What are the differences? Why was it so easy to sort of get a COVID vaccine, but we've struggled with the HIV vaccine for years?
I think listeners or viewers need to realize that a vaccine, there is no one way of making a vaccine. And the vaccine that is made is so dependent on the germ against which it is being made. So germs have different challenges. A HIV vaccine mutates very, very fast. We have so many strains of HIV globally, so many. And therefore, it makes it much more difficult to get a HIV vaccine. It's the same thing with malaria. Malaria vaccine research has been there even much longer than a HIV vaccine. And it is only 2 years ago that we got a vaccine that is only 31% efficacious. So the challenges are different.
Pamela Seeger, Citizen TV.